Hello Forza fans, you join me for the first of 3 races today at a soaking wet Suzuka. We were just thrust into here after a dry qualifying session, so let's see how everybody does. As we come down to the first turn, I'm thinking we've got to be quite tentative here. However, the guy on the inside of me didn't think that and wiped out the guy trying to overtake me on the outside. Another car spinning there for good measure. And then now I'm behind the Full HD brothers. I think they've got a different mother or father because they both have a different section of their double-barreled names there. Full HD versus 240p against Full HD versus 144p as we go through the S's. This is the East and therefore shortened version of the Suzuka circuit that does include the S's, but then sort of loops round back to the start-finish straight again afterwards. So it's a lap time of just over 1 minute in dry conditions, I think. Here we come round, and then really it's about getting on the power nice and early and hoping that we get an overtake done. Now this race actually turned out to be reasonably processional in terms of you guys who are coming to watch it, so I've had to cut a little bit out, but actually in terms of racing it was extremely exciting. You were waiting for people to make mistakes, there were people trying to make moves all over the place, there were a few little rubbing incidents but nothing too serious. So you're spending the whole time here coming up the S's just trying to find a way around, like, oh, hopefully he'll run a little bit wide, or hopefully they'll go a little bit deep, you know, and you're just trying to get your line as perfect as possible to try and capitalise on any issues. So I'm in 10th anyway. I believe I started in 12th. And as we level up the car to 42 there, huge news. And we come round onto the start-finish straight once more to start lap 3 of 9. There's a little bit of snaking going on, and I quite fancy my chances as I got a decent run. So I sort of pull out to overtake. They kind of cover me off. I lift a bit. I don't know how committed I want to be to the inside. I still get a bit of a run even with the lift, but I just brake a little earlier. Full HD goes deep, but not too deep. It doesn't really get out of shape either, so really good driving there. And then we have a bit more of the same, so we've just cut ahead again to the run onto the start-finish straight the following lap, where again I get a little bit of a run. There's a little bit of slipstream there, but I don't get it, you know, I don't get anywhere near close enough again really. Just once again hoping for a mistake. 8th place there goes out quite wide, but manages to cut back in and cover it off. And then again, you know, we followed each other all through the S's, so once again it was a run down to the first corner to see whether we could get anything. There was a little bit of a gap behind me, look, 1.8 seconds. So I'm sort of feeling pretty confident that I can try and do something ahead without having to cover it off too much from behind myself. So that was another lap like that. And then I get really wide out there, just couldn't quite get on the power early enough, so I don't really get a great run as we go on to lap 6. But this has just been nose to tail stuff, people just trying to sneak in, people trying to outbrake each other, people trying to outsmart each other. It's been a really, really good race, but I just thought I'd spare you all the details of going through the S's nose to tail the whole time. Anyway, and the next time we come around, there's going to be a little bit of action. So as we come to the end of the S's, look, Full HD gets a little bit wide there. The first Full HD in 7th place, should I say. And then as we come to the tight hairpin corner, there's a little bash there with MH Hutton. And then comes together with the other Full HD brother. So I fancy my chances, thinking, okay, he's had 2 bumps, probably had a rough run onto the start-finish straight, but actually the car in front has pretty good straight line speed. As we go on to lap 7, I'm wondering if they might take each other out. There might be a bit of a late break battle, but there isn't. 7th place goes super, super wide, but just manages to get on. But then watch this, it causes a bit of a bunch up. 8th place gets onto the grass. I get caught watching him and go deep myself and lose a little bit of ground on the now 8th place MH Hutton. and I'm up into 9th. With that, there's a little bit of a touch there. Look, and I fancy it around the outside, then I fancy it around the inside, but I would have got hung out on the grass there, and I would have had exactly the same fate as Full HD versus 240p the lap before there. So I just play it safe, really. But that car's really starting to snake around. There's a little bit of a collision there. I just bash them because they don't seem to get any traction out of that corner. And as we go on to the start-finish straight to start the last lap, I really do sniff a chance at getting 8th place. Look, I get a pretty good run, but now I've got Joey Moore 1992 right behind me, so from 1.8 seconds back, they're now 0.4 seconds back, so I'm kind of having to look behind at the same time as trying to see if I can get into 8th place myself. But there would be egg on my face for sure if I got demoted to 10th at this stage after such a solid race. So as we go into the S's, we're going to let this play. I get a little bit of curb, but other than that, you know, just keeping it tight, not overdoing it. You got to be patient. Nearly coming together again through this section. Hutton there, just weaker in this section of the track for some reason. Don't know if it's the car, don't know if it's their tyres. But look, I'm just sort of trying to avoid an incident and just hope for the best. And then as we come around the corner, I don't really get that good a run. I've kept Joey Moore behind, but I stick to 9th place. So that's the end of that race. It was really eventful, really exciting considering the weather conditions, and I'm actually pretty happy with that result. So I'm the top Civic, and also I'm the top car with that particular rating. There's a lot of higher rated cars than me. So 8th place is pretty good, but I have to watch the other guys on the podium on this occasion. Okay, so we're on to race 2 now at Laguna Seca. This one is interesting. I started in 4th. Once again, top Honda runner amongst a lot of faster cars because the VWs and the Audis are quicker. I get out-dragged into the first corner, but then while trying to be quite considerate there, I get run out wide by Forged by Design, and then there's another car with a run, so I just sort of try and hang it out around the outside. That's normally a flat out corner, and I can't really respond into this tight turn, but Wireless Parts gets wide, so I smell a chance on the inside as we come down to the corkscrew. I just get on the brakes at the right time. And there he is, tucking in behind in my mirror. So that was a pretty eventful first lap, down from 4th to 6th. I was actually down to 7th there, but managed to get the place back from Wireless Parts. But really considerate racing from him. We'll go back to that in a second because we do have a little bit of a battle this race. As we come to the final corner, I have already lost ground on all those other cars, but honestly, the top 5, I think it's an Audi in first place. Or no, Audi in second place, I think it is now. But then a bunch of VWs. And I'm already losing big ground. I'm already 2.3 seconds behind 5th. So I'm just really trying my best to hold my own. And then here we go. Look, Wireless Parts goes around the outside. I give him room. He gives me room. Really clean racing. And you can't argue with that, getting past with a fantastic move. And as we go to the flat out section, I'm just staying close enough, hoping that maybe he might make a mistake and go deep like last time, but actually it's me who makes the mistake. I've locked my brakes up quite badly there, and I've lost a bit of ground on Wireless already, but a really eventful couple of opening laps. I get a dink there from behind into the corkscrew. There was no real chance of an overtake. I guess they just outbrake themselves a little bit, or maybe I braked a little early to be cautious because of everything that had been going on. But I'm down to 7th. It's hard to really argue with it. Everybody else looks like they've got the pace. Wireless Parts there goes off the track. I would come and see if there's any chance into the final corner. And there sort of is. I get quite a good run, but they've recovered it already. And then we're on to lap 3. I get the feeling that we may meet again. One of us may make a mistake. And there it is. Actually, the person who originally started in first was just off there, ghosted to the side. I get a pretty good run as like my car level 50 gets hit. Look, we give each other space, no contact. And then I'm already alongside as we go into the tight corner. So I think, well, there's nothing wrong with trying the overtake at that point. I mean, when you're alongside, it's fair game. I think it's if you're coming from behind for a dive, that is a very stupid corner to do it at. But however, the first corner on lap 5, look at this. I go wide, buoying off the wall. Luckily for me, I bounced perfectly straight right across the track. Don't come in contact with wireless parts, who really wouldn't have deserved that after the very fair racing that we were having. And then the Audi manages to sneak through as well. However, by the end of lap 5, I've caught it back up, and in going into the final turn, I think maybe there's a little bit of a chance here. So I just get a good run, aim it straight, go down the outside, and then I'm alongside the Audi. I'm hoping I'll get the same sort of space that wireless parts gave me. But watch this. Sparks on the left. I got hit and forced out wide. I don't really know what happened there. I don't know whether they got a bit of a twitch or whether they moved out deliberately to take the corner a little wider and didn't really see me there. Not 100% sure. But then watch this guy. This is JD, who was originally in first place, coming up on me like a rate of knots. But watch, what a place to try and make the pass. I know they had a lot of momentum from before, but by the time we got to that corner, they were already well behind me in my mirrors, and they just went for the move regardless and forced us both off the track. But luckily I was able to rejoin first and keep 8th position. Somebody else dropped off as we get to the end of the race, so I actually finished 7th in the end. A really eventful race. A little bit of misfortune for me. I'm down 3 positions from 4th to 7th, but again, I'm the highest place Honda and also the lowest ranked car in that top 7, so really I'm pretty happy with it. So we go to the third and final round now, where I start second at Nurburgring. You just saw me trying to move my sim hub overlay there at the start, which is down on the bottom left. I'd restarted my PC, that started. It's quite comforting to know that it works with the UDP settings in Forza, but not particularly pretty, and you can see which gear I'm in 3 times now. Anyway, remarkably, we're through the first corner clean, we're through the second corner clean, and I'm hanging it around the outside of Regenthi, who started on pole. I was hoping to get around, but it wasn't to be, but at least I managed to hold second place as we make it through the complex there at the start of the lap. Once again, this is the shorter layout of the Nurburgring, so we're now about to take a hairpin to cut us through to the latter part of the regular Grand Prix circuit. But I'm holding my own, 0.4 seconds ahead of Justin there, and started second, hoping at least for a podium, maybe first place to make a mistake. Who knows? But we're trying to do our best. I've gone for the medium tyre because in these shorter 5-lap races, the soft tyre tends to go off. It's at its best kind of laps 1 to 3, a little bit dodgy lap 4, and then lap 5 you're really struggling to stay on the track, especially in these front-wheel drive cars where you get a lot of understeer on power. So I thought, okay, let's do it. I get a little bit of a bump from behind in the Grand Prix chicane there, but again managed to hold it. I'm losing a little bit of ground on first place, but it's not too bad. So I'm starting to wonder, is he maybe on soft tyres? Maybe can I capitalise on this later in the race? So you might pull away for now, but could I be back in contention? We will see. So as we break down into turn 1 again, we had a surprisingly clean turn 1 on lap 1. And again, I go a little deep, and the overtake is done by the Hyundai, or Hyundai if you're American, by Justin. Now I am wondering if he is on the soft tyres, because I was quite a bit ahead in qualifying to get that second place. I was a good half second, I think, faster than Justin, who I believe started 3rd or 4th. So I was starting to think maybe they've gone for the softs, maybe this one will come back to me later in the race as well. So this, you know, the win could still be on, but hopefully certainly the podium is still on. I've got Japanid's TTV in 4th place, very close though, 0.6 seconds behind, so there's no respite from the threat behind, as well as trying to push to go forward. Justin goes a little bit wide there, but gets on the power easily enough and tucks in, so there isn't really much here. I'm making up ground, but it's very risky to go into the extremely tight chicane side by side, so we'll see what we can do through it. get on the brakes just in time. Justin, get it. Anyway, we get out of there fine. And then into the final turn. So this one's pretty close, although Regenthi in first place is now starting to stretch his legs a little bit, and I am getting harried from Japanid's TTV. So we've got a Twitch versus YouTube showdown here, and I'm losing ground on Justin, as you can see, but by the end of the lap I skip across the chicane nicely. You can do that with the track limits without getting a penalty or any kind of warning. He gets on the grass. I go to the inside, a little bit cheeky there as he covers it off very, very late. I was a little bit angry at the time, but really when you think about it, they did only move once and I wasn't alongside the rear of their car when it happened. So really fair to make the block. It was just me because I wanted the position, maybe being a little bit butthurt there. They do go deep though at the hairpin, and I give it my best shot to go round the inside. They tuck in behind in my mirrors there, as you can see. So I actually get the move done on Justin, and I'm back into second place again. But I am 3.5 seconds behind Regenthi now. And on lap 4 of 5, it does look like it's slipping away from me for the win, unless Regenthi makes a mistake. But perhaps I can hold my second place now. Is Justin on soft tyres? I get a little bit of a bump from behind there as we go round the turn at full throttle. I get on the brakes at the right time. I get another collision in the side, so I don't know whether Justin just turned in early, but then I get another bump in the side on the exit of the chicane. It has been very good racing, but Japanid's TTV gets through and up into third themselves. So I hold second, and Justin goes down from second to fourth in the space of a couple of laps. I think there were 3 contacts between me and Justin there. And then as we come down to the end of lap 5, we come to the chicane. I go for the inside line, try and cut the chicane as much as possible. There's no contact between us. I just need a good run out of the corner. They are down my inside a little bit, so I need to give them racing room. I get a little dink on the side. I assume that's understeer when they're trying to get on the throttle before me to race me to the line. But I hold it together and I take a very good second place. But in the end, we are 6.9 seconds behind the winner. So we just weren't up to that race win today. But second is extremely nice. Top Civic once again. Very good race. And finally, I get to taste the champagne on the podium after 3 rounds. The multiplayer in Forza really is the shining light of it. It's so much fun, so make sure to get into it if you can. If you've enjoyed today's race and you want to see more of these in the future, feel free to subscribe, like and comment. I'm hoping to do one of these every week as it's a lot of fun. Take care and goodbye for now.